Okay, we're just after 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. We want to honor everybody's busy schedules and stay on track. We have a very full agenda today. On behalf of UNM-Taos and the UNM-Taos HIVE, I want to welcome and thank you for joining our presentation today on the digital empowerment for community change session to join us to hear what all of the buzz is about at the Taos HIVE. We'll be learning about the Future's Digital Challenge, an initiative dedicated to tech upskilling and ensuring residents in small communities are equipped to participate in 21st century digital economy. As all of you know, we've been having this conversation in Taos for decades about the economy, diversification of the economy, the technical economy, and we're very excited that this program and the projects that we'll be hearing out today will meet some of those and address some of those needs that we have in our rural community. We have several guests that are joining us today that we'll be introducing here shortly. But before we get into our programming, I just have a few Zoom housekeeping announcements to share. I know that we all have been becoming quite experts at this format of meeting and communication, but just a reminder on a few things. One, if we can ask everybody out of respect for our speakers to mute your microphone so we can be really focused on the presentations today. Two, we invite and encourage you to use the chat feature for communications and to post any questions. Those of you not familiar with how to do that, if you look on the bottom toolbar of your Zoom screen, there's a conversation bubble icon. If you click on that, it will open up the chat field and you could type in your questions there to everybody that's on the session or specifically to an individual. Please do be aware private messages are still visible by the host. So when we do download that chat transcripts, private messages are not completely private, as many things are not in the virtual world. So just be advised. And then let's see, lastly, if you right now I'm looking at the screen and I see everybody in the Brady Bunch kind of Zoom format. If you prefer to see the presenter as they're speaking, you can go up to the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen and there's an icon, a square with 3 dots above it that says speaker view. If you click on that, then that will show just the person that is speaking. So we invite you, if you wish to do so, to do that. So now getting into our presentation today. So Taos HIVE, one of the beauties of the title, the name of that initiative and that program is really refers back to how bees operate and exist in their community in nature. And as a beekeeper, a former beekeeper, one of the beautiful things about it is that each of the individual bees exists in its own specific role and is, kind of stays in that role. But each of them also exists to support the best interest of the greatest good of the hive as a community, as an organization. So the Taos Hive exists and operates very much in the same way, where there's many, many community collaborators and partners, each that contribute their own skills and assets and resources, but really work together for the best interest of the community. There's many that you'll be meeting today. There's 3 in particular, the core partners that since the very beginning, when this was just a kind of a crazy idea for a shared workspace and education space, that really saw that vision and latched onto it and invested time and effort and energy and resources into making that a reality. Those key core partners include the Taos Community Foundation, Kit Carson Electric Co-op, and UNM-Taos. So we'd like to start today by hearing from our core partners, starting with the UNM-Taos Chancellor, Dr. Patrick Valdez. Good morning and welcome, Dr. Valdez.
Good morning. Thank you, Anita. When we started doing these Zooms, several months ago, I had no idea how much of a natural knack you have for being this producer and hostess on these Zooms, but you've become quite astute. So thank you so much for all the warnings and all the housekeeping that you've offered all of us. I want to say this, and many of you, may have heard this, but for anybody that's new, for me, in terms of our involvement with HIVE, the bottom line is that it's going to provide access to a lingo that I'm going to share here in a minute through an anecdote to a group of students and a group of the community that wouldn't normally receive it, right? When we talk about incubation and we talk about microlending and entrepreneurship, and we're going to do it in a way that provides students to have access to courses so that they can take these courses, if not through the HIVE, at the actual physical location that we're going to set up, that we were partnered with Kit Carson to do, but that they will be able to take it through certificate programs that have attachments to the HIVE, like through badges or some sort of portfolio. And the idea behind that is that people and these students come in with this entrepreneurial mindset that will run them into, or at least guide them into, these digital and gig economies. I'm real proud that we've been recognized as part of the Rural Innovation Initiative that is going to help us as a rural community figure those pathways out. That's huge for us in terms of diversifying our economy. You're going to learn a lot more about that by the experts that are pushing that have joined us today. So I won't say too much about that because their acumen in that area is a lot better than mine. But I do want to share a story, an anecdote of HIVE that I think represents what we hope happens in the community. So everything starts with an idea. And I may get in trouble here because I got to give some thanks to some people. And often when I do that, I get reminded, well, you didn't thank these people. So just a quick disclaimer out there. But everything starts with an idea. And about a year and a half ago, Ms. Gonzalez, Nina Gonzalez, came to me with this idea of this HIVE. And it was a cool little video that had to be made, like this one little minute video that had to be made on in your iPhone. It was so captivating, and it was about how this hub of internet vocations and education could come together around these shared spaces and these collaborative spaces. And I was really intrigued by the idea. I thought, wow, this sounds like it might be really, really interesting. And so one person kind of starts with an idea. I'm sure there were a lot of people that she shared it with, but kind of create some synergy. Then we bring in a couple of more partners. More partners get involved. Kit Carson, the Taos Community Foundation. I think at one point we had a VAT Pipe and then several others. And again, you'll learn more about all of them, but those are kind of the major ones, the TCF and Kit Carson. And the next thing I know, I'm told, hey, we've got all of these people together, all these partnerships, these collaborative group come together. And we've been told that we've got to make a Shark Tank pitch in Miami to find out if people want to invest greater. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. Usually when that happens, I'll say, okay, well, hey, good luck. And, let me know what happens. And I thought, well, we don't have an athletics program here. So this might be the closest thing for me ever, like rooting for a national championship. So I said, you know what, I'm going to jump down to Miami with you guys if that's okay. And they're like, we'd love to have you. So thankfully they said that. And so I jumped in and we went down to Miami. Lo and behold, we make this pitch and we get one of three organizations and colleges, or I should say an organization because it wasn't just colleges that were selected to receive $100,000. So the idea behind that is that, right, you've got an idea, you marshal some resources, you find some investors, and then you start to kind of incubate this idea. And then we reach out to one of the other partners and say, hey, can we find a space that you guys have, or you have a space that, can we utilize it to create this actual physical space for the HIVE? And Kit Carson says, yeah, we have this command center, and if we can work this lease out and we can work the things out together, they'll make this investment the way that we're making this investment. So the idea behind all that, the anecdote is that hopefully we've modeled what it takes to get started up. That it starts with an idea, you marshal some resources, we bring in Rose Ressa to do the day-to-day. We've got Victoria Santisteban, who's always out in the community, probably the busiest of the bees that we have at UNM-Taos, and gets together with Aaron, Luis Reyes, and Lisa O'Brien. And lo and behold, a year and a half later, we can say, hey, we'd love to present this to the community, not only for what it's going to do for the current businesses and the ones that want to grow, but more importantly, what it's going to do to the students and the parts of our community who have never had access to these types of things, and they're now going to get it. And that is how we change a community. That is how we lift it, and that is certainly how we're going to recover from this pandemic. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you to all the people who have been involved in this initiative. I'm probably one of the most proudest things I've ever done throughout my career. So thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Valdez, for those words. And it's interesting to think back. You mentioned a year and a half, but it was just a year ago that many from this group and many others were gathered at Baton Hall celebrating Taos HIVE as they came back from that national competition when we were celebrating that win. So it's just really amazing to think back what has all been accomplished in the past year. So thank you for your words, Dr. Valdez. And next up, I'd like to turn the mic over to someone who's been a mentor, a friend, and a colleague, and I've been really honored and privileged to be able to work with her even more so over the past couple months, the Executive Director of the Taos Community Foundation, Lisa O'Brien. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks, Anita. Thank you for that housekeeping note about the chat room. I just have to tell you right off the bat that this is my third meeting this morning, and I started my chat to Patrick Valdez and said, how many cups of coffee have you had? Because I haven't had a break to go make another one. So I'll just share for everyone. Patrick has had 6 cups of coffee this morning. I want to say just thank you. And I had a really beautiful reflection this morning. I went back and looked at my notes to see when Taos Community Foundation became involved in this as a project. And just to let everyone know, the Community Foundation is holding a charitable fund for this project. So this is sort of our piece of the puzzle. And what was really cool is looking at this from a historical time frame, that we started this conversation in the summer of 2018. And it formally became a special project of Taos Community Foundation in that partnership piece in October of 2018. And I remember like just looking back at some of that initial paperwork, and it really was about creating this private partnership or private-public partnership right off the bat, and to meet the needs of our community. And then I go, wow, we were talking about something that we had no idea when COVID hit it was really going to be ready to go. So I want to kind of, again, preface the importance of the partnership piece and the connectivity to that in the community, and the length of time that has already been invested in this. And I think that when all of us step back and take a look at COVID, we're going to go, wow, this conversation was ramped up 2 years ago, and look how ready we are now to respond to that changing environment for students and our community and business and all of that. This has been a great partnership for the Community Foundation. I love being part of this. And I went back and looked at my notes to my board of directors when I said, yes, we should champion this and we should absolutely accept this. And one of my impressions was this is one of those anchor moments for us in community. So I just want to it just went off screen, I know. So thank you. I'm excited. Good job.
Thank you, Lisa. And I think you really summed it up. You know, just thinking back to the initial idea, and thanks to you again for your vision, as well with Dr. Valdez and Louise, for even those early days saying yes, absolutely, and championing that to get to where we are now and where we're going into the future. So thank you. And next up, it's my honor and pleasure to call to the floor somebody else that has been over the years since I very first came to Taos, who's been a colleague back since the Chamber of Commerce days that we worked together there. And we certainly have had the honor and privilege to work together, even more so now through COAD and 10 and several other boards that we serve on, a leader in our community dedicated to economic development and really bringing up and serving our region. And so Luis Reyes, CEO of Kit Carson Electric Co-op, thank you. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anita. This is really humbling to see how you have a vision to make Taos better, and it does bring people together, brings the best out of us. Yeah, to create a goal, a mission. Have to thank Erin Sanborn. She actually stepped up for the co-op, for the community. I think without her, a lot of things would have not got done. So Erin, thank you very much. You know, I think, and those of you know, I am a hard driver when it comes to taking care of our local population. And I see this as an opportunity to enhance the quality of life to all those that are in our area, in the Enchanted Circle. Even though I'm an Aggie, I've been a long supporter of UNM-Taos and UNM. You know, they are the kind of the center of our universe here for opportunities for our kids and those who have struggled. I see Ron Seidel there, and I think the Workforce Solutions, they've stepped up to help enable opportunities. And I'm really just proud to be part of this group and be part of the solution that makes, you know, I think as a community leader, at the end of the day, our job is to enhance the quality of life of those people that we serve and we live with. And anytime we can do that and make those sacrifices, all the struggles we've had through COVID kind of melt away when you have an event like this and opportunities like this come to us. So again, I want to thank everybody. Met some people I didn't know, and it's those people I knew, they're much, much better than I thought, especially my friend Patrick. Like to razz him, he still owes me some a drink or two. But guys, thank you very much, and I think this is a great success story for the entire community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Reyes. I think it's pretty clear to see why these three individuals are leaders of three of the top anchor institutions and largest employers in the region for their vision and their dedication and commitment to education, economic development, and the well-being and welfare of the community at large. So thank you, Dr. Valdez, Lisa, and Luis for being here. And now, without further ado, it is my extreme pleasure and honor to introduce and bring to the floor Ms. Rose Reza, the ultimate queen bee of Taos HIVE. You see her buzzing all around town and on meetings and on phone calls and just working really, really hard with a huge heart and a lot of passion for entrepreneurs and business people and the community at large. So Rose, thank you for your work. Thank you for leading the Taos HIVE, and we'll turn it over to you for the rest of the programming. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. And, you know, Dr. Valdez, Luis Reyes, Lisa O'Brien, thank you so much for your support. Words will never express how grateful Taos HIVE is to have you as our core partners. You make all the difference. First of all, welcome, and thank all of you for joining us today. As Anita said, my name is Rose Reza, and I'm the Executive Director of Taos HIVE. Today, we have a great presentation for you, but our first presenter will be the Rural Innovation Initiative group. You know, Rural Innovation Initiative will help us realize, not just Taos HIVE, but our whole community, to realize our vision for creating a digital economy, creating digital economy jobs, and kickstarting our economy. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to Leah Taylor.
Okay, hello everybody. Very nice to meet you from across the country. I'm coming from Vermont today. So a little bit of a different world over here. Can you all see my screen? Fantastic. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Rose. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Blown away by the incredible talent that's present on this Zoom call and seeing so many people really dedicated to this effort and showing up for this presentation today. It's really been our pleasure to be a part of this process with Taos and Taos HIVE. They've worked very hard over the last few months to present this strategy work to you. So in terms of what I'm going to be sharing today, I'll talk a little bit about what the Rural Innovation Initiative is and why the digital economy ecosystem is so important, particularly for rural regions to really think about and have intentional strategies to build. Then I'll be turning it back over to Rose and the Taos HIVE team to share their work with you, and there'll be a discussion after. And Anita has been doing an awesome job of facilitating. You're blowing me away. As an aside, what a powerhouse to have on your team. So a little bit about who's been involved in this effort on our side. You'll see I'm Leah Taylor. I'm the Rural Innovation Initiative Program Manager. With me here today is Matt Dunn, our founder and executive director. We've got Rebecca Hunink, our Director of Capacity Building, Mark Rembert, our Head of the Rural Innovation Network, which Taos is officially a part of, and I'll be sharing with you a little bit about that in a moment. Molly Pyle, our Ecosystem Development Lead, and Nora can't be with us today because her sister is getting married this weekend, so she's helping her get ready for that, for a beautiful fall wedding. So a little bit about who we are. The Center on Rural Innovation's mission really is to advance economic prosperity in rural America through the creation of inclusive digital economy ecosystems that ultimately are supporting scalable entrepreneurship and tech job creation. We are based out of Vermont, but we have a remote team across the country. Molly, for example, is hailing from the West Coast today, and I'm in Vermont, just as an example. And to give you some context of what we mean, you know, the digital economy ecosystem is a phrase. What does that actually mean? What are we talking about doing? What we're thinking about here when we talk about the digital economy ecosystem strategy work is focusing on supporting these kinds of jobs that you see here on the screen that have higher than median income higher than median income pay rates. And digital economy jobs are typically very innovation based and tech enabled, and they drive automation and change in our community. And we all know today is an example that this would not be possible without technology. And imagine COVID-19 happening 30 years ago. It would have been a very difficult and much more challenging situation than we have today. So there are tech jobs with tech companies, as we obviously think the obvious things like Microsoft and Facebook, et cetera. But all industries are now tech industries and have tech jobs in them. The great thing about tech jobs is they usually pay well, they have great potential for advancement, and through amazing organizations like Kit Carson Cooperative or Electric Cooperative, can be done from anywhere through reliable high-speed internet. In truly strong digital economies, tech workers ultimately drive innovation and become entrepreneurs. So they create local wealth and future-proof jobs through scalable startups. So what we do at the Center on Rural Innovation is work with communities to build out or improve entrepreneurship programming that's focused on scalable, software-focused, or tech-supported startups, like some of the examples here on the screen. You'll notice a couple from Taos on there that really have the potential to create more digital jobs in the community. And we're particularly interested in helping communities work with creating programs that foster thriving software or automation-focused startups because they're low touch, they don't require physical inventory, so they're a lot easier to scale, and they can be done from anywhere, again, with that good internet connection. And I want to emphasize here that the digital economy ecosystem is in complement to what we already see happening really well in a lot of rural communities like yours, where you need to have really strong Main Street businesses and other lifestyle and small businesses that support and make sure that you have an amazing, attractive place for people to live. So we do that in complement to those efforts. A little bit about the Rural Innovation Initiative. It's funded through a cooperative agreement through the Research and National Technical Assistance Program at the Economic Development Administration. And our initiative is focused in 4 areas. The first on the top left there has been our main focus so far with Taos, which is strategy development to really help communities align all the amazing assets and partners they often have in place, and you sure have a bunch, to address the gaps in their ecosystem and create a strategy that's implementable and can really create positive change. We then help communities to take those strategies and translate them into preparing for real funding opportunities that can make this happen in the community. We also provide recommendations to the EDA on how to improve their programs and make them more accessible to rural places like yours. And then last, but I think most importantly, once communities have completed their technical assistance journey with us, they join the network of other rural communities through our Rural Innovation Network. So you'll see here an image of the 20 communities that are a part of our network from across the country, and they are all at various stages of developing their digital economy ecosystems. To give you a sense of how many rural Americans this represents, it's about 1.2 million people, which for context is the population of Dallas, or it's the population of New Orleans, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland combined. So it's quite a large number of people that we represent. So by rural standards, Taos may be small, but you are also certainly extremely mighty. And part of what we do with the network is that we back your awesomeness with resources, connections, and best practices at the national level to bring those small but mighty communities like yours to really build out robust digital economies. So as we are coming to the end of our technical assistance phase with you, we are beyond thrilled to welcome Taos officially into the Rural Innovation Network to continue this work moving forward with us. This is the beginning of our relationship and work with you and not the end. And I've been really pleased to see how Taos has jumped into this opportunity at the network. We've already had support from Aaron Carson meeting with Ada, Oklahoma to share with them about how to spread broadband in a rural region. And Rose and others have been really engaged with other community members from across our network, learning about how to leverage virtual events like this one, or how to grow coding initiatives in rural places. So thank you and welcome so much. We're happy to have you as a part of our network. So now I'm going to share a little bit about our theory of change and why the digital economy is our focus as an organization. We are facing a significant rural opportunity gap right now. As you can see from this slide, after the 2008 Great Recession, rural economies never recovered. whereas metro counties did recover and continue to grow jobs. Of course, you see a giant downturn there for everybody. Because of COVID-19, it's had an impact no matter where you live, but it's really pushed rural even further behind than many urban counterparts. And much of this gap can be explained by the fact that the digital economy has left rural economies behind. So when we look to access to employment or jobs with increasing incomes, they are largely clustered in urban areas that are explicitly not rural. So for example, the digital economy grew 7.6% faster than the overall economy over the last decade, but 90% of all innovation sector job growth has come from just 5 major metros. And this divide has real repercussions for real people, right? We're seeing a major brain drain, lower college attainment, and increased rates of deaths of despair in rural places. And that really translate ultimately to what we really care about, which is a negative impact on the quality of life for people in rural places. So why did this happen? There are 3 main causes. The first is automation of manufacturing jobs. Manufacturing, as we know, has been historically a very large part of rural employment, and that has shifted, and there are fewer jobs available in that space today. Globalization, outsourcing manufacturing and digital jobs to other countries. And I think last but certainly not least, there's been a significant decline in entrepreneurship as an ongoing trend for several decades now in the rural communities. And just to give you an example of that, less than 1% of all venture capital goes to rural areas, even though we make 15% of the workforce. So looking ahead, we are really concerned about these ongoing effects of automation for rural. And if there isn't an intervention soon, communities like Taos and others can really continue to fall behind as their jobs are automated. So many rural communities still rely on manufacturing as a core employment base, and those jobs are more vulnerable to automation. And there will be net job growth from automation. So there are jobs coming out of this. The question is, where are those jobs going to be? And for the most part, unless there's an intentional effort to address this, they're going to grow in urban places. So from 2010 to 2016, digital jobs had the fastest wage growth and the second fastest job growth average. For comparison, the first in job growth is actually personal services, but these are typically lower wage service industry or low wage healthcare jobs. And as I said earlier, we know that every industry is becoming a tech industry, yet you can see here only 5% of tech workers live in rural America, even though rural America accounts for 15% of the total workforce. And so our job is to close that gap. And there really is opportunity for change, and I want to just reiterate how much Taos HIVE is leading that edge for change in rural communities and can become a model for across the country for the work that you're doing. So through working with our network and external research, we've learned that the keys to local wealth creation and increasing high-paying tech jobs through the digital economy are through these 5 drivers you see here. The first is scalable entrepreneurship support and incubation. So again, that focus on supporting entrepreneurs that can do scalable businesses. And then of course, those businesses need access to capital. So those startups can really get some runway underneath them. And then ultimately, those startups should be fostering more digital jobs and new demand for tech workers. But if you have demand for tech workers, what you don't want to see happening is that everybody is being imported from elsewhere, right? You want your local community to benefit from that job growth. And so you have to have good digital workforce development to ensure that people have the skills in your community to meet those jobs. And then last but not least, we really believe that you need to create a strong culture and community around this effort through co-working, networking, and social spaces. So as my colleague Molly likes to say, you create this engineered serendipity that can occur, and new innovation and new startups can happen, and people can see that this really is possible in their community. And so the strategy you're going to hear about today centers around these 5 drivers. And in rural places, we think it's especially important to create physical hubs that bring all of these drivers together into a cohesive and aligned ecosystem in a real place, which you're all doing as part of your Taos HIVE. Is a really good example of that. So before I turn over the mic back to Taos HIVE, I want to share for a minute why we selected Taos. So there were 140 applicants for the 2020 Rural Innovation Initiative cohort, and only 10 communities were selected. And when we considered which communities to work with, Taos really stood out for having an incredible number of really strong assets that were already present and strong signs of potential for a burgeoning digital economy. During our first interview with Taos back in the fall of 2019, our organization was beyond struck by the immense talent and dedication present in the women-led HIVE initiative. And our admiration for your team and your community has only continued to grow through the time we've spent working together with you all. A community can have all of the assets in the world like the ones on this slide here, but for really great things to happen, it requires the kind of inspired leadership we see in your community. And we really believe that Taos can and already is a model for how to build a thriving tech economy that is truly cross-class and cross-culture and welcoming of all Taoseños. So we really think it's amazing to be able to share with you the strategy work that HIVE has been doing, bringing together a strategy that meets people where they're at to improve their digital skills, while also supporting those who are ready to launch and accelerate world-class tech businesses like you have already seen in your community, like Seriousware and Rerouted. So just one last piece here to give you a sense of the epic journey that Rose and her team and Nina and her team have been on for the last many months with us. So we started this process working individually with each community and with Taos to understand your current assets, your gaps and opportunities for your region related to the digital economy. And we did that through self-assessment surveys, through community interviews with entrepreneurs like ChapGrub, with different partners in your region. And then we also did a data analysis to uncover your current digital employment and other indicators so we can understand where you are today to get a sense of where you could be in the future. We then, because of COVID-19, we had planned, and really still sad that I did not get to visit Taos in person to do the strategy work. But the benefit of that was that we had to pivot, as we all have, to a virtual approach. And so we decided to create a cohort-based virtual strategy development process where every week for 5 weeks, all 5 communities that were part of our developmental cohort spent 4 hours on Zoom with us. And we all know how painful Zoom can be. So we tried to make that an exciting and fun experience where the communities got to learn from each other about what they were doing and share and gain those insights while they were building their individual community strategies. And so this was a really interesting moment for us because it allowed us to leverage those key learnings across the communities and best practices from the network while they were thinking about what makes sense for Taos specifically. And then we also held one-on-one meetings with the team weekly to guide that process. And what you're going to see today is the result of many, many hours and weeks and months of incredibly hard effort from the Taos team. And so I, again, want to thank you as a community and Taos HIVE for your unbelievable dedication to this effort, for your visionary efforts, and for really just showing up in such a swell of support and enthusiasm for this work. I'm extremely excited to see what will be happening in the next year, 5 years, 10 years in Taos because of the energy that's present here virtually today and in person for all of you in Taos. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to the Taos HIVE team. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Leah. I want to give special recognition. Number one, it's been an honor to work with RII. Every single one of the members has been absolutely incredible. But I also would like to give a special recognition to the Lore Foundation. Jake and the Lore Foundation put us in contact with RII at the very beginning of our journey. So thank you, Jake, and to your team for opening the door to this incredible opportunity. Thanks again to all of you for joining us, and I'm going to kick it off. As you know, as I look at this picture, I see the vigas, which provide a sound structure and support. Adobe walls, which provide sustainable protection from the exterior environment. Our beautiful skies, which refreshes our spirits in our rich heritage and culture. All communities need a strong foundation, a foundation that allows our most important resource, our people, to flourish and grow and explore new horizons. Taos HIVE is committed to promote education, entrepreneurship in a cohesive, collaborative environment where all are welcome and our success will be measured based on the success of those we serve. Today, we are hoping you have these takeaways. Why we need HIVE and the need for economic diversification. What is HIVE? How can you help? By getting involved and, or perhaps access to funding, enrollment, or perhaps legislative power. It's important that we want you to know our team welcomes all who want to get involved. Our culture and heritage is our competitive advantage. Coming together in alignment can bring our community to new heights of economic development.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is Victoria Santisteban Gonzalez, and I'm the Department Chair for Professional Skills and Community Engagement at UNM-Taos, and I'm proud to say that I am a product of this community. I am very fortunate that I was able to leave for many years, see the world, but was able to come back to Taos and continue my dream of working in education. We are all very fortunate to live in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Only in Taos can you visit a friend at Taos Pueblo, which has been continuously inhabited for over 1,000 years, or take an afternoon to museum hop or gallery hop and catch the latest Paseo exhibit. And I happen to know from experience that the Governor Bent Museum is haunted, by the way. Taos also has so much to offer for those more into the outdoors, maybe less into the paranormal, including world famous Taos Ski Valley. Our ability to combine the traditional with the eclectic is legendary. Taos is a special and unique place, honoring Native heritage and multicultural traditions while embracing advanced technology. I value my Hispanic culture and connections to the land, and attempt, and not very well, to make enchiladas and bizcochitos in between emailing, Zoom meetings, and teaching in this online environment. Please be assured that UNM-Taos will value time-honored traditions while we look forward to empowering our people through meaningful employment.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Sanborn with Kit Carson Electric Co-op, and I get the honor to talk about some of the more challenging parts of our community. But I think all of you here know what some of these challenges are, and Leah went over the statistics around the digital economy and what's coming in our future. But with COVID, I think what we're seeing both nationally and locally is that the challenges that we know we've had, they've been exacerbated. So while we've always had unemployment, these are the current numbers officially, but we believe that those are going to be even higher by the end of 2020. And like many places in the United States, we have a huge income gap and wages are low. And according to the Albuquerque Journal, Taos may have one of the highest income gaps in the state. Another challenge I know all of you have been aware of for a long time is our dependence on tourism. So tourism is a double-edged sword, right? It provides economic stability, and at the same time with COVID, we've seen that our dependency on it has brought forward a few more challenges. So therefore, Taos HIVE is really about how crucial and important it is to diversify our economy and to build out that digital economy ecosystem, a culture of digital jobs and tech entrepreneurship as an important piece in the puzzle of what will enable Taos to truly thrive going into the future. Next slide. But we have all of the levers that we need, right? And this is what you're about to hear, because this work is on the ground practical, it builds for the long term, and it builds on a consensus that this community has actually had for a long time. So most of you will remember back in 2013, when one of the areas of economic focus from the town of Taos was technology, and quote, any business whose core foundation is the development of technology, a provision of technical services and its advancements, and its advances, and of course, support for remote workers. Or some of you may remember Luis Reyes taking up the charge of developing a tech council, of which many on this call were on, right? Where we were looking to network available local jobs with those in high tech and supporting local workers and students and interns. And some of you on this call have actually been involved too in coding for kids, right? What's been offered in our community, classes and seminars, and many of us have been judges in science fairs and robotic competitions. So our community at some level, I think in our heart and souls have known that in order to diversify the economy, this is one of the most important tracks. So of course, you know all the levers, a top performing adult education program at UNM-Taos, right? The 2,900 miles of high-speed broadband. And if you don't know, we're moving to 10 gigabit speeds so that we can really provide for remote learning, high-tech jobs, tech entrepreneurs, online learning, all of it, everything we're seeing in COVID. So, you know, what we're doing here with Taos HIVE is we're shifting our digital and high-tech economy into high gear. So pass it back to Rose.
It'd help if I take my mic off, right? Today, we're going to be covering 3 strategies: education, entrepreneurship, and engagement. We've been working for over 3 years at building this model from an idea to the development of a cohesive plan and strategy. Taos HIVE is positioned to respond to the COVID crisis. This pandemic has clearly defined gaps and barriers that the HIVE is poised to bridge. As you can see, the most incredible asset we have is our team. These partner logos represent real people who have committed hours and hours to this project and who have provided braided funding, weaving together lots of in-kind donations. The beginning of a strong foundation, and we are just getting started.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Lisa Adkins, and I'm the COO of Fat Pipe, New Mexico. UNM-Taos is, of course, the lead in all of this, and HIVE was born from their adult education program. They have provided substantial in-kind support for educational pathways development, staff support, legal support, and in holding the larger team together. Together with Kit Carson, who is donating our space and broadband internet, and the Taos Community Foundation as our fiscal sponsor, Fat Pipe, New Mexico is able to bring its in-kind support to this project. We will provide all furnishings, technology infrastructure, and the successful business model we have implemented in other locations in New Mexico. The co-working space will be branded as Fat Pipe Taos, and together with our partners, we will provide ecosystem building like it's never been done. This is our container for engagement and an opportunity to provide services to this rural community that have never been offered. We have had many success stories where startups have grown by tapping their Fat Pipe network for talent, customers, and services. Tenant founders regularly connect with their peers to share ideas and learn from each other. It's the most effective form of learning and growth for entrepreneurs. By engaging with the community to provide fast internet, workspace, education, connections, access to peers and mentoring, all under one roof, this is how we build out the tech industry and create opportunity for our locals.
Again, you see, this is a real collaboration that extends beyond paper. We all flew to Miami, as you heard Dr. Valdez say, together for the national competition, our electric company, our town council, and even the chancellor of our college. We competed against top metro markets like Los Angeles, Miami, and a percentage of the win was directly contributed to the community online voting. Our community votes exceeded those from competing metro markets. Why? Because we are united, and we can achieve whatever we put our minds to. Upon return to the town of Taos declared September 26th, Taos HIVE Day, which by the way is tomorrow, Digital Promise and Minds That Move Us have taken us on some incredible learning journeys. Digital Promise recently published a case study on Taos HIVE initiative that will be studied for years to come. And I'm happy to announce we are now officially a Rural Innovation Initiative cohort, which is going to allow us to leverage our rural community initiatives within the network. It's very exciting. And now I'll pass it to Nina.
Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. So my name is Nina Gonzalez. I'm the Director for Student Support Services at UNM-Taos. And I want to talk a little bit about the seed of the vision of HIVE. And because, you know, there are many small business and tech startup and co-working spaces arising in rural communities. But what really makes HIVE unique is that it came out of the field of adult education, as many people on the call have noted today. And adult education serves alternative learners, people seeking a high school equivalency, or maybe who graduated but need remediation, which right now is the majority of our graduates nationwide. We also offer basic literacy services and immigrant supports. And so that's really at the heart, is how do we serve our struggling learners? And in 2017, New Mexico rolled out the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, which is federal legislation calling our nation to really overhaul workforce training for those that have, you know, multiple barriers to education and employment. So that legislation is about developing a quality workforce, but I really started asking, well, what are the quality jobs? Because we cannot expect quality in our workforce unless we have living wages and the supportive circumstances for them to thrive. So the driving question behind HIVE became, what's the future economy of rural America that can offer those living wages and supports? And in particular, what would that look like here in Taos? And I started researching, and all the books said train people to work online and invest locally. Those two things. So it's the global, the connection to the global, but also the local. And so HIVE is essentially a set of best practices to do that. It's about breaking down the silos between business and education, between public and private, and hopefully between cultures and classes. It provides on-site classes and support for tech and small businesses in a co-working space where a natural cross-pollination between students, entrepreneurs, visionaries, and the tech skills, the people who have the tech skills, as Leah mentioned from RII, you know, tech is central to all of our success right now. And so we're really striving to have all of these happen under one roof. Well, one day when we get to be back in face-to-face. Right now it's happening under the virtual roof. Next slide. And so I just want to say one little bit about the education before I turn it over to Hannah Smith to talk about the specifics of what HIVE is offering. And so this also came out of the WIOA legislation, and it's called Integrated Education and Training. And it's a national best practice for how we provide that kind of quality education and workforce. And it says that we're going to teach 3 things at the same time, ideally in one classroom, that we're going to remediate reading, writing, and math skills in the context of a living wage career path, and most importantly, that we're going to teach explicit advanced professionalism skills. So how do we resolve conflict? How do we communicate? How do we work through hard things together? We know that's the single biggest predictor of workplace and academic success. So we envision a strong pipeline from K-12 and adult ed into these career pathways. And then lastly, just that we're really providing on-site wraparound support. So tutoring and connections to social services and coaching. So, you know, HIVE really is about that core community. And I'll turn it over to Hannah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah Smith. I've been working with Victoria Gonzalez to develop the education piece of the UNM-Taos HIVE. We want to target these efforts to ensure that our community members have the skills that our local businesses need. Starting this summer, we've been offering 1-credit UNM-Taos on-ramps, including our wildly successful grant writing class with Rita O'Connell. We just wrapped up our Microsoft Word class, and we're planning on offering digital fluency starting October 7th. This course will help learners to be able to adapt to new programs and to troubleshoot independently when problems arise, to effectively use online tools to present professionally and confidently. something that I think is very relevant in our current moment. We're also offering Intro to Entrepreneurship in November, which will be taught by a local entrepreneur to help people learn how to develop their business. And we have more courses planned for the spring. We've also been working to promote and develop UNM-Taos's existing degree and certificate programs that target these crucial skills, including IT, business tech, entrepreneurship, digital media arts. We've been working to develop stackable credentials, one in PC maintenance and repair and another in Linux and networking. We're also planning to offer supplementary webinars to develop our community's digital skills, and we're connecting to external programming like Udacity, offering scholarships to people in our community to get nano degrees in digital marketing, business analytics, or front-end web development. Enrollment for that closes November 3rd.
I'm doing the same thing. Part of our strategy is the core of our community entrepreneurship and tech support. You know, our vision is to support scalable tech startups and small businesses where they thrive in our incredible environment. And cross-pollination of talent between tech and small businesses is so important. Everyone always hears me say this, and I truly believe it. We have so much talent in Taos, both tech and our manufacturer entrepreneurial base. You know, Cirrusware was a company that founded many years ago, but it was founded here, who created a POS ticketing system that was sold to Disneyland in 2013. In BizWorks, an online platform developed right in our own backyards and is gaining tremendous momentum. You heard Leah speak about Rerouted, right from Carson City. He's going to revolutionize online business to sell reused outdoor gear. Incredible young man who happens to be the one who's going to be teaching the introduction to entrepreneurship for us. And then you have Turista. Many of you haven't heard of Turista yet, but it is an app that is going to revolutionize connecting the business with the end consumer like never before. And don't get started on our manufacturing talent. We have, you know, you think just so you all know, 4 of our local manufacturers are going to be pitching their product to Walmart on October the 1st. And so, you know, that talent is absolutely incredible. And manufacturers like Private Label Select, Humble, by the way, Dustin, hello, I know you're on with us, Taos Bakes, Bison Star, Teography, and the list goes on. Right now in October, Victoria and I are going to be meeting with Humble Brands, who wants to help us implement an internship program for manufacturing, where people and within our community can understand and get involved in this incredible process of product development. But we all know that talent needs support. And based on a number of surveys, our small businesses are having to seek outside advice. We need a formalized local mentorship support. Recently, you know, we have a program that we kick off called Taos Biz Sprint. 4 out of 6 of our entrepreneurs had to drop out because they didn't have the digital skills to finish the course, and they lost out on funding. So we have to skill up our workforce with digital skills and programming. These businesses play a major role towards the contribution of economic development of our community. We have the talent, but talent must be cultivated and supported.
So as you can see, all of us on the HIVE team value the importance of collaboration and leveraging resources to maximize services to our community, otherwise known as obsessive compulsive networking. We work with many economic development entities to promote entrepreneurship in Taos. Our Chief Academic Officer and Dean, Dr. Randy Archuleta, is extremely supportive of all of our business, entrepreneurial, and workforce development programs, and UNM-Taos has an entrepreneurship certificate program that will prepare our people for business startup, retention, and expansion. Our students can also obtain a business degree and move on to Anderson School of Management at UNM main campus if they so choose.
So our engagement strategy starts with the community co-working space and the collaborative culture that we will create. Fat Pipe's core mission is ecosystem building. We specialize in creating collaborative spaces where entrepreneurs thrive. We do this with monthly workshops, done virtually for now, access to mentors and business experts, and with our involvement with 1 Million Cups ABQ. So our expansion outside of Albuquerque allows us to bring the incredible benefits of our 1 Million Cups community to rural Taos with a mission to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all new and aspiring entrepreneurs. We are already seeing Tauseños engaging across the state and sharing their entrepreneurial stories.
I just wanted to add one more thing about, particularly about the student engagement from that Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act, which has funding for paid work experience and on-the-job training for those that qualify, and also for tuition remission into our courses. And so it's this incredible opportunity for students to engage with working professionals and people who are already in the field, and to start building some even paid opportunities to have on-site job shadowing and on-site internships, on-site work experience. So that's another key area of our engagement that we're really bringing those youth and adult learners and business professionals under the same roof. So again, that natural cross-pollination can occur.
So I'll be talking a little bit about how you can support our educational efforts. Please take our classes or encourage your employees to offer to cover tuition or other incentives. I know right now we're all struggling to adapt to work from home, and digital fluency is designed to help build those skills that people need to be effective online workers. It starts October 7th, so please enroll soon. Enrollment for the Udacity Nano degrees ends November 3rd. And please connect with us. We'll be doing outreach, surveys, conversations, and interviews. We want the UNM-Taos Hive to meet the needs of our local business community, and we can't do that without your help. Please let us know what you need so we can help develop programs that meet those needs.
And how can you help entrepreneurship? Share your experience. We need mentors. And I know you're out there. I'm going to find you if you don't come to us. But we need mentors in tech, digital support, website developers, social media experts, photographers, copywriters, finance, marketing, operations, supply chain, legal, human resources. We really want to cultivate a strong mentorship base for our community. And I know we have the talent here to do that. Share your experience by investing time with your community. You know, make local purchasing decisions and design policies to support the digital economy. You know, when you're convening with your boards and your different organizations, make sure you have representation amongst your board to really represent the diverse community that lives amongst us. And participate in regular tech roundtables. I want to talk a little bit. We have a new member in our team. Her name is Molly Burns. Hannah touched a little bit on the Join the Future is Digital Challenge. This is an incredible opportunity. All you have to do is invest 10 hours a week, and you could focus on one of the 3 foundational trainings that was mentioned. It's the digital marketing fundamentals, business analytics fundamentals, or front-end development fundamentals. And I personally know, after reviewing these programs, the business analytics and the digital marketing fundamentals are programs that will help each and every one of our small businesses or hospital, banks, whatever businesses are within our community. One of your employees should go to these programs to skill up, because it's an awesome opportunity. Number 1, to be able to go through this course. Number 2, if you pass an assessment, have the opportunity to get a $1,200 to a $1,600 scholarship. No fee to the individual that wants to take advantage of this. Right now, as of yesterday, we had 15 community members that have registered for this class. but I want 100 because I know we have 100 or more out there that can take advantage of this opportunity that will build that skill we need amongst our workforce and amongst our community.
Rose, can I just jump in here real quick? I apologize. I'm going to have to get off the call, but I wanted to just say something that you mentioned, or I think maybe Nina as well, in terms of mentorships and apprenticeships. You know, not everybody's going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, we'd love people to be entrepreneur. We want to give people that access, but a lot of individuals will just be gaining a skill set and, you know, nano degrees or certificates around having to be employed and work for one of the local, you know, small businesses in town, perhaps, or one of the larger ones. In addition to the mentorships and apprenticeships, what I'd like to ask for, and we've been talking about this for a couple of years, is how we develop this workforce pipeline into these businesses from the locals, right? People who we know want to stay in the Taos area and the Taos region for all the reasons that you mentioned earlier, Rose. I was like, well, if I didn't already live here, I was like, I need to move to Taos. And so we need patience too. We need businesses and organizations to come in and help us intern these students and help us, you know, provide those internships and those apprenticeships, and not with the expectation that you're going to be hiring an employee already, but that you're actually helping us develop a student who is going to become a good employee for you and be a long-lasting employee, so that you don't have this revolving door. And so we're having to also educate our workforce, you know, community, you know, our partners in the area about that too, because a lot of times they're in such desperate need of having an employer right away that our students may get turned down because they think they don't have the skill set that they need. And we go, yeah, they don't. We need you to help us develop them so that they can be a good employee, so that we create, instead of this elevator right up and they get off, but this kind of continual escalator, right? So that there's always a student on board that can be hired and become a great employee. So I just wanted to make that plug, because that's a real big initiative that we have moving forward. And we've already partnered with a couple of organizations, but we really need to have this patience mindset of building a workforce development pipeline. That is not going to happen overnight. It is commitment and it's long lasting. So I just wanted to make that plug before I hung up. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. I'm sorry I have to leave though.
Thank you, Dr. Valdez. And that's why we're so excited about these 2 internships that we're working on with Humble Brand. We haven't developed it yet, so don't get nervous, Dustin. I know you're out there, but it's something we're going to be working on. And another with Heritage Inspiration, which is the whole outdoor experience. But to touch on what you just said, there's intern opportunity and apprenticeship opportunity in every single organization within our community. And we have to get that going. It's a huge opportunity. But one thing, you know, going back real quick, you know, we really need to attend these roundtable of business support and share a case of change around building a digital and tech economy. I'm going to ask the Taos News, all of you who have distribution listing, talk about, showcase some of those talents. Thank you.
And along those same lines, you know, if there's anything that's the heart of HIVE, it really is about community collaboration and engagement. So yes, you can help promote our events. There's so many ways to connect now. You can find us on Facebook. You can email taoshive@unm.edu. We've talked about many of the things of how we can, really all of this is about engagement. But it's that personal engagement. It's the time to pick up the phone and actually make a phone call, or to forward an email, or to respond to that survey, or to do that one extra thing that can connect your world to HIVE's. Or think of that one student or that one employee, or hey, I heard about this thing. And so what we've really found in terms of building effective collaboration is that, you know, we're so busy right now, especially with the pandemic. We're so stretched thin, but it's that little bit of extra effort to build relationship and to maintain those relationships. And so that's what we're really asking for you. HIVE would have never made it here today without that kind of extra effort on the part of so many people here on the call that we haven't even named. But for it to really succeed, honestly, HIVE is just starting now. And to be really successful, it's going to take everybody on the call to continue to engage. So that's our real ask today. Rose?
Thank you, everyone. for being with us. I thought we wanted to open it up to our other community partners if they'd like to share some feedback. Anwar, are you out there still?
If I may,
Hi,
just
Rose,
Rose,
can you hear me?
before we get into that, I apologize. I wasn't sure that you were done, so I missed my cue there. But I just wanted to, before we move into community comments, I just want to take a moment to give a huge thanks and virtual round of applause to the HIVE team, Hannah, Nina, Erin, Victoria, Rose, and Lisa, for your presentation today. There's various parts throughout your presentation that I got really moved and a little emotional, remembering back to all the preparation for the Minds That Move Us competition, the watch parties, the rallying, the voting, the Facebook messaging, and then the deep pride, joy, and hope that we all felt across the entire community when the team won the national competition. And then to see where HIVE is now, the accomplishments of the team and the countless partners in such a short time, to me is an amazing reminder of the power of collaboration, how when we leave egos and agendas at the door and we work together for the greatest good, phenomenal things can happen and are happening. So thank you. So then I'd like to take a moment again to thank the 70+ participants that have joined us today, the elected officials, entrepreneurs and business owners, campus representatives, leaders in the community, and community members from around the Enchanted Circle and the region. I know it's already been a busy meeting day with the leadership forum starting at 7:30 and into the chamber meeting. And so just really a heartfelt thanks for taking the time to be there. So at this time, we'd like to open it up to some of our HIVE collaborators, again, starting with Anwar Kalin from the Small Business Development Center to share a few words. Anwar, and thank you, Anwar.
Hi, thank you, Anita. Just give me a thumbs up if my audio sounds good. Awesome. I'll speak fast for time's sake. I'm glad I could stay on. I was bothering Nina over the last few days saying I had a client at the top of the hour, but he sent me a text saying that he had to go move his cattle, so I'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. For those who don't know, my name is Anwar Kalin, and I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center at UNM-Taos. Definitely like to start by giving a thanks to everyone involved for all their hard work in conceptualizing and realizing the Taos Hive, the support by the Rural Innovation Network, and the opportunity to be a resource at the Hive. Rose, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that makes me a drone. For those who don't know, the SBDC Network is a program of the U.S. Small Business Administration. In Taos, the SBDC office has served local businesses for just under 10 years. In New Mexico, we're a 30-year-old network, and nationwide, we're going on 40, catching right up with me. In every state and territory, there are close to 1,300 counselors like me. In New Mexico, we're close to 50. My primary strength is in being able to leverage the knowledge and resources of this broad network into the needs of each Taos-based client I speak with and will speak with at HIVE. Since the beginning of the pandemic in March, 195 days ago, who's counting, right? I've directly assisted over 400 Taos County businesses navigate challenges from pivoting their business models, updating operations, accessing capital, and building technical capacity. On the upside, during this time, I've also helped over 40 entrepreneurs start new businesses in Taos County. This week is also the U.S. Small Business Administration's 2020 National Small Business Week, and it was kicked off on Tuesday by SBA Administrator Jovita Carranza. My primary takeaway from the events this week for Taos County change and your ability to evolve your business model, remain flexible to a quickly changing regulatory environment, be responsive to an unpredictable market, and be aware that as we approach the winter, resilience will determine success. But many in Taos, especially our traditional sectors, like the client I was supposed to meet with at 11, this is business as usual. The new dimension here really is the domination and requisites of technology as a tool, skill, and resource for all businesses. This is where HIVE comes in, and I and the SBDC network have the privilege of supporting with our one-on-one, no-cost, confidential business counseling services. I'll leave it there. My contact info is going into the chat. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Back to you, Anita.
Thank you so much, Anwar. It's always a pleasure to have you on these sessions and to hear about all the amazing work that you're doing at the SBDC. We have many other business support agencies that we work with very closely, including the Taos County Chamber of Commerce, Taos Entrepreneurial Network, and Taos Main Street. And I did notice that I believe Lindsay and Steve are on the phone. I'm not sure if Charles is or anybody from Main Street, but we'd like to open it up to you if you care to say a few words about the work that you're doing and how you're partnering with HIVE. And I see that Lindsay unmuted, so we'll turn it over to Lindsay from the Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, everybody. Like Anita said, I'm Lindsay with the Taos County Chamber of Commerce. And yeah, like Onward said, we've been hit the ground running 6 months ago, and kudos to HIVE, to Rose, for really seeing the opportunity in crisis and really making sure that we're all on the same page. We used to meet every other week, and now we're meeting every month. And kudos to you guys for doing this. This is a huge need in our community, and so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so excited to see where this is taking us. And we do look forward to having office hours there for Rose. And I remember the first time I met Rose, she was the facilitator of 10. And she has this fierce loyalty to our community that has really pushed us to this new initiative. And thank you to Mina for being her, her support, because we all need that. Thank you to Victoria, and thank you to Fat Pipe and the Taos Community Foundation and Kate Carson and Aaron. I could go on and on and on, and UNM-Taos, and all of us are, really seeing the opportunity to collaborate and partner and really support each other more than ever. And however the Chamber can help facilitate and support that, we're here to help get the information out. And of course, I have to put in my plug of census. Please fill out your census, and please ask 5 to 10 people to fill out their census as well. And my other thing to ask is for get the businesses New Mexico Safe Certified. So please make sure you're asking your fellow businesses and give them kudos, and to shop local, to support your neighbors more than ever. I know sometimes it's hard, but please shop local first. And the Taos County Chamber of Commerce is here to cultivate the existing businesses and the healthy business environment. And again, that word pivot comes into play so often, and being innovative and also collaborate. And we're here to support what you guys do best. And I'm so proud of all of you. So congratulations from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for everything you guys do. And kudos, Rose. And we look forward to the next steps.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. And thank you to you and Susan and the board of the Chamber of Commerce for all the work that you all have been doing as well. It's been really amazing to work with you in the ways that we have been. So if Steve from 10, if you would care to unmute and share a few words, you're welcome to.
Good morning, and good morning, everybody. This is exciting to see this program move forward, and there is so much alignment between what the Taos Entrepreneurial Network does and what HIVE is doing. But mainly, I'm just grateful because it's a great resource moving forward. And at the Taos Entrepreneurial Network at 10, that's what we do is we listen to our business community individuals and connect them with resources that can help them move forward. And HIVE is certainly going to be a great resource when it comes to that. When Anwar was talking earlier, so often I call Anwar and say, help, we've got a business that needs your help. And that goes across the board to so many organizations, all of the organizations that are represented here at one time or another. I've used through 10, and it's just great to see us all coming together, working together for a common goal, and working for the betterment of our community. So I'm glad to be a part of this. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Steve. Appreciate your work. And so in the interest of full disclosure, I also not only work at the University of New Mexico Taos and support Taos HIVE, but I serve on the board of 10 and also Main Street. So there's some really amazing collaborations and cross-pollination that's been happening there. So speaking of Taos Main Street, it does not look like the Executive Director, Charles Whitston, is on the phone, but I would like to call another board member, Sonia Struck, to say a few words about Taos Main Street. Hi, Sonia. It looks like she's connecting to audio.
Hi, Anita. I'm so sorry. I did get disconnected. Several meetings this morning. No, so, I mean, thank you to everybody. I mean, I think just hearing these presentations today is just another heartfelt gratitude for everybody that's contributing to some very important core topics in our community. I think that so many other organizations are all coming together to address. So it's been really heartwarming to be part of these conversations and just hear what everyone is doing. I sit on the Downtown Taos board as well as the chamber board, and it's you know, one of our missions now being a nationally accredited Main Street organization on how we can bring additional business or support to our business community through funding, through different types of resources and whatnot. So again, I look forward as a Downtown Taos board member to represent our business community, to work with programs like UNWAR, to work with programs like HIVE and Taos Chamber, to really come together to collaborate on how we can create some resiliency in the way that we diversify, in the way that we enhance, in the way that we support. So thank you for everyone for all of your efforts, and I look forward to more.
Thank you so much, Sonia. And one really exciting project that was an amazing collaboration between Taos Main Street, UNM-Taos, Taos HIVE, Taos High Tech, Rerouted, I think CHAP was in there as well, is the development and launch of the Business Alive program, which would, through an application process, opening up first to Taos Main Street businesses and then to the greater business community, we selected a number of local businesses to help them work one-on-one with Taos High Tech to do web development, to enhance or create an online shopping platform to enhance their e-commerce capability. So we're very excited to be able to do that, and with support from the Taos Community Foundation and the Lohr Foundation that's in full force. The first couple businesses are beginning to work on that. And then these businesses, in addition to that direct development support from Taos High Tech, will get access to trainings and webinars through UNM-Taos, and then online support and mentorship through Taos HIVE. So that's one example of a really fantastic partnership. So we're going to be getting into, we've got about 8 to 10 minutes for kind of an open forum and Q&A session. So you're welcome to type your questions into the chat box, or if we can manage it, just go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you'd like to share a comment from anyone else that's on the call, you're welcome to do so, or ask a question to any of the presenters or anybody that's with us today. So please do.
Don't be shy.
And if not, then Rose is going to do a little song and dance for you.
You don't want that. One thing, Anita, I did, Molly, are you on? Molly Burns, I didn't recognize her. You know, this Udacity project that we're kicking off is happening between 15 of our rural initiative cohort communities. And they asked for 3 moderators so applications were taken from all 15 communities. Well, one of those 3 moderators is from Taos, and it's Molly Burns, and we're really excited to have her be a part of our team. She's also going to be a tech advisor. So she's going to be being a moderator for this Udacity project. So you'll have a local hill to help you with the program when you register. So it's really exciting.
Thanks, Rose. I'm really excited to be a part of it. And the community has kicked off with some enrollment, and I'm also taking one of the tracks to sort of be alongside everyone. So I started with business analytics, and definitely encourage people to spread the word because it's a really great program. So excited to be a part of it. Thanks.
We're excited to have you.
Any other comments or questions from any of the participants, any of the partners, any of the community members, entrepreneurs, business owners, elected officials?
I saw a question about about being under one roof. Under one roof versus online. While certainly the original vision, pre-COVID is to be under one roof. And we do imagine that we will be able to be back or start and launch and be in the building at some point in time. So right now our roof is virtual, but UNM-Taos is fully online. We are working with that pipe to start some face-to-face things, hopefully in the spring, depending on what happens. But one of the things that HIVE brings is expertise in how to create engagement in an online world, which is so needed. So whether it's physically under the roof or in the online virtual roof, HIVE is really well poised to make that same kind of collaboration happen between all these sectors.
Thank you, Nina. It's a really good point, and one of the biggest questions that comes up now in the time of COVID and remote work. There is a question that I'll pose to Leah and someone from the HIVE team, which is a question about access to the PowerPoint presentations and if those slides can be made available. And if that's all right, then I can coordinate with HIVE and UNM-Taos to post those, as well as a recording of this session on both the UNM-Taos and the Taos HIVE websites, if there's if you'd be all right with that.
Absolutely, we're happy to share our slides.
Excellent, thank you. So with just a few moments left before we have our closing announcements, was there any other questions or comments or thoughts that anyone would like to share? Or everyone's Zoom meeting out and ready to get on with your day? So question, is there a directory of technical services resources here in Taos? I'm not sure who to pose that question to, but if anybody has a response to that.
Actually, that's one of our goals. We're in the process of developing one.
Thank you, Rose. And Rose, if you can put into the chat box for everybody the URL to the Taos HIVE website so folks can continue to keep track of what's happening and updates on the progress of these projects, that would be great. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions come through, so there's no need to go all the way to 11 if we don't, or 11:30 if we don't need to. So now I'd like to turn the floor over to Nina Gonzalez to share a few words, and then we'll close it out with some last closing statements from me. Nina? Nina, you're on mute.
So tomorrow is September 26th. And last year at this time, we were all gathered, many of you were there at Baton Hall because we had just won the National Minds That Move Us competition. And the town of Taos made an official proclamation declaring September 26th the town of Taos HIVE Day. So tomorrow, so we did it as close as we could to celebrate Taos HIVE Day, but I just want to say tomorrow or for the rest of the day in honor of our community day, that this really symbolizes that HIVE is for everybody. HIVE happened because all of you voted, because everybody's gone, you know, the extra mile to make it happen, and we should feel really proud as a community. And I know these are really hard times for many, many people. So if there's any one offering that we could have, symbolized by these incredible cookies, if anybody remembers that Louis Jeantet so generously donated and had made for us, that our little gift or parting gift is that tomorrow you feel proud of our community and to take a moment to do that. And to feel proud and to feel that we really can get through this together, because that's what the colony is really about. So I just offer that and invite everybody to do that tomorrow, and also to just reach out and engage and again, connect, enroll in our classes, look us up on Facebook, get the slides, and think, what is one thing I could do personally to make HIVE successful in the community? And again, I just want to thank it makes me cry, but thank you, all of you. Like, this is such an incredible journey, and it's amazing. So thank you to my team, you know, to each and every one of you. It's just such an incredible queen bee. We're all queen bees, but I'm so grateful to have this team make this come to fruition. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Nina. And thank you, everybody. In closing, I just want to bring us all back to that vision of what we talked about earlier of an actual beehive and how it exists out in nature. And where each and tens of thousands of bees, each one has a critical role and something to contribute to the best interest of the greatest good and the health of the hive. So now each of you do too. Each of you are now part of the hive. And we look forward to how you each and all will bring forward your unique skill, perspective, and contributions to make the Taos Hive and our region thrive. Thank you for joining us. We wish you a wonderful day and in good health. Goodbye.
Stay safe, everyone.